Hey everybody, I'm Dustin, and joining me today is Sarah, and we are commentating the last few games in Division A1 in the American Ricci Mahjong League today.
Hello, everyone. As always, very happy to commentate here.
Yeah, I remember when they played the first game. This was advertised as three of the top scorers in the first, the Beta League, whatever it was called. And then there's Jeremy. But it's still like he's a very. If you look at the stats, he is a very high difference between the win and dealing rate. The lowest win score, but still pretty good. Works out.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch these games here, especially since, for me personally, I'm going from commentating a B2 game to commentating an A1 game. So it'll be interesting to see differences in strategies and so on.
Yeah, and we're starting off. The dealer hand has a few Ryman shapes, but still needs a lot of work. It's a lot of terminals in the player's hand to the right. Fairly good hand from Jeremy.
Yeah, I would say out of all of them, theirs is maybe the best.
Yeah. Lucas did just pick up a Dora, and he does have some good shapes, though. But he needs something to connect to that Dora. And Korok throwing away the Tumon for that Dora acceptance. He's definitely the kind of player to go for like the greedy plays. Draw the
Right.
2-man again. And to the right, Ashi has a pair of white dragons. Could call to make things faster, but there's not really any value that way.
But even without calling, there's not much of a value to begin with. You can reach potentially to bring it up by one on, but other than reaching,
They
not
could have
really
forced the
much
half
where
flush.
you could. It's a bit far at this point, and especially after tossing out those other two. So,
Yeah, if they kept it though.
oh, excellent fill for the dealer, getting that five, completing that 4, 5, 6 shape.
Yeah, there's still I think it's 2 Shanten, but the door is a great pickup.
Right, we're already into the second row, and it seems like everyone still has a ways to go.
I believe Ashi is Ishanten, actually. They'll probably end up getting a Shampan weight. Ideally, they get the white dragon for that extra Han. But if they don't, it's more likely to be thrown out, I believe. They might also have Itsu here if they pick up the 8 and 9 so.
Right. It might be a little bit hard for that 9, so considering 2 in dealer's hand, 1's already been discarded.
Right. But they'll definitely dream for it. And they wouldn't know that only well that 2 of them are in the dealer's hand right now.
Dealer is an interesting shape here. Definitely looks like it could become 4, 5, 6 Sanshoku. They can
That would
get that 4, so.
yeah, that would be very
Yeet.
nice. And
Ooh,
there's
and gets that white dragon. Very nice.
yeah, amazing weight, this 9 pin. Do they drop it? It's not Suji. They stay safe for now.
That's probably the safest play. You're so far towards the end, your hand hasn't quite gotten together. That 9 pin isn't particularly safe.
Korok draws the 9 pin, will probably just go with the well, he goes with the 2 mon, but I figured he'd probably just go with the 1 pin that was just safe just before. Oh, no, he doesn't reach. He would have been able. Actually, no, he wouldn't have had a pair.
No, not quite Tenpai yet.
But he might call for Tenpai and then drop the 9 pin, which would be very unfortunate.
Oh, but chooses not to do it. Dealership is probably going to disappear, though.
And he
That
can't
was
draw the
one
last
more
9 pin
draw
either.
to get into Tenpai.
Oh,
Ooh,
ooh,
and
does
gets
he?
there,
No.
but well, actually, that wouldn't even have been Tenpai.
No, not
Anyway,
quite.
next hand.
So Ashley gets the 3,000. Pretty nice pickup considering it's, well, was 2 Han at least. So the dealers started off with some nice shapes in their hand. They had a few honor tiles, but they got rid of them. Some nice Ryanman weights. To the right, there's the double East Yakuai in their hand. They also have one of the Dora, but no one's dropped them yet. And the opposite side with Navitas, there is not some of the greatest shapes, not some of the worst shapes. They also have a Dora that they're just waiting and holding on. Well, in the meantime, uh, Jeremy has a pair of the Dora and a pair of the East, so he's definitely going to want to call and get a lot of that value. And there comes out the East.
Oh, and is that white dragon going to come out? Sometimes it
Maybe.
can be a little bit hard with holding on to the one Dragon Dora in your hand because as time goes on, you really want to get it out of your hand. Otherwise, you're almost certainly not going to be able to finish. But the longer you hold it, the scarier it becomes if you don't see anyone else tossing it.
Yeah, and some defensive strategies you might just hold on to it forever. We'll see what he does with that.
Gee.
I believe the dealers now he's Shanten. Another call from Jeremy. Still not in Tenpai though. Just Shanten. It's 3 Han right now, but if that White Dragon gets dropped, though, it'll upgrade to Mongon.
Right. I don't think Jeremy is necessarily. I think they're going to take any
Yeet.
tempai that is given them. Oh, and we have our first reach.
Richi,
Looks,
Peiko, Pinfu. Pretty good.
yep, waiting on that 5-8. But unfortunately, if we look across the way, 3 of those 5 so are locked in the player's hand.
Yeah. If the dealer draws a 5, he might be tempted to Richi and drop the 8. But he could also be safe with the 7. Oh, Jeremy is now intent by waiting on White Dragon or the 8 pin. If you're really unlucky, you draw that last White Dragon as the dealer,
Pump.
and you can't really do anything to defend against it. Yeah, the pins are looking very like a good tile just because Jeremy's just throwing so many of the way, but that 8 pin, oh, it comes
Done.
out.
Oof.
It's just the 3 Han, but it's pretty good. You'd like the Mongon, but 3 Han is pretty good for Akanashi.
Right. And especially when there's a Ricci already out there, sometimes the best thing to do is just take the slightly less expensive hand,
Yeah,
get
you
rid
get
of that potentially bad reach.
you get the extra stick. So the dealer has some shapes that could be better, but they start off with a pair of the Dora, which is you love to see it. To the right, there's some very disconnected shapes, so a few terminals. lots of pairs for Korak's hand. And then I know to the left, Ashi had actually had an Anko of the South, but threw away one of the South for some reason. They would have actually had a very. They're Dama Chanta already waiting on 3-mon. I would have preferred to just wait on the 1-mon. I don't know. The one of them was already discarded. Asi, at that point, you just like Ricci it. It's like close.
Right. It's so
Yeet.
early. Yeah, just go ahead and reach that.
And there it comes out. So it's Ricci, Chanta, and Adora. So that's a
Gee.
Mangan.
And Sanshoku on 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, that makes it Hanuman. Then yeah, I guess dropping the South is definitely the right play in that consideration. None of the 3-mon are alive yet or in anyone's hands, so they could also draw it. And with one door, that becomes a Baimon.
Right. And it also, looking at those discards, it's really hard to see that it is actually a Chanta, just discarding all of those honor tiles and then reaching right afterwards.
And Navitas draws the 3-mon, but it doesn't exactly fit in their hand, but it could. They keep on to it for now. Meanwhile, the dealer has the potential for E-Peiko, but it's still a few Shanten away. Another 3-mon drawn by Korak, who keeps it. And they, especially with such an early Ricci, or they could have even Ricci even earlier, they wouldn't expect a Hanuman hand out of this.
Right.
4-mon comes out from Navita, so you'll probably want the 3-4 for a 2-5 Chi. There's still 2 more 3-mon in the wall, though. Yeah, another 4-mon, another 3-mon for Korak. So might keep it as a pair. That is 4 pairs, so might go for Chitoy.
Oh, that 5 draw is very good. Now that 3 is almost certainly going to stay in the hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, interesting. Decides to discard the 4, I guess.
Oh, the 3-mon comes
Oh,
out
there's the
from
3.
Korak. It's going to be a very nasty hand to deal into. No Ura, but it's still a Hanuman for the first row Ricci. Hate to see it. So the dealer has about 6 terminal tiles. Not good enough for
Yeah, and speaking of hate to
Kokishi,
see
but
it, right? You hate to see this hand when you're the dealer so far
yeah.
away.
You at least have 1 East, so you could get the double East potentially, but it's a little bit of a dream. And there's a lot of terminals on the right hand. Some of them are paired up, and they just draw a Chunonko. There's some very nice shapes in Ashi's hand. And then a lot more terminals in Jeremy's hand. He calls the South. Might go for the... Yeah, definitely, probably going for the half flush.
Right, that's the only thing I can see in the hand. And with those 2 Dora 9-mons, honestly, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the Yaku, no value, but with Dora 9-mon, that makes it a Mangan. The other 9-mon's in people's hands right now, but it's very isolated for Oliver. It might come out, but it probably shouldn't, especially with that extra so call. It's probably thinking it's Honeytsu on the Mon. At least it wouldn't be a dealing right now.
Oh, and there's a call.
Yeah, call from Korak, but it's still E Shanten. And
Right. I
just
wonder if Korak is going for maybe a toy, but they do have that shun in there, so that does satisfy the one Yaku requirement. I wonder if they're just going to try to call into Tenpai as fast as possible or go for something a little more expensive.
I'd imagine because I mean you don't see the Naimon, but you don't also you might be scared of them.
Right, especially since on Jeremy's side, there have been no Mon dropped. Once you're
Yeah.
getting into that second row, it's a little bit suspicious there.
The Korak drops a 2
Home.
mon anyway, but there's another pawn, and now Korak is in Tenpai, waiting on 7, so
Oh, and we have another Tenpai from
oh
Jeremy
the
on
6.
6-9.
Does Korak throw it? Oh, he senses the danger. He doesn't want to deal into another Mongon, especially being up in the lead with so many points out of all the players in this session. This 9-mon, I think this is 5-mon is improved for Oliver, but the 9-mon, you definitely don't want to throw that out.
Right. And it looks like Oliver actually started breaking up their hand, tossed that 2-pin, breaking up that 2-3-4 shape. So they may sense that, oh, this 9-mon is a little bit dangerous. And even though Billy needs to get tossed to finish the hand up, you don't want to toss it into this situation when it hasn't been tossed yet. There's clearly a Honitsu going on.
Oh, he sumo's on the
Oh,
6-mon. A nice
yep.
Mongon hand. So Korak's hand, it looks pretty bad, I gotta say. Not much more than that. No, one Ryman shape, that's it.
Right. You have one Dora East, and you are East, so you can use it, but not great.
Yeah, you'd have to make a lot of calls to win that hand. If the East even come out.
Right. And speaking of calls, Jeremy already calling that White Dragon.
Yeah, no, still pretty far away from winning. And no
Chi.
value otherwise. The Chi comes out 2-3-4 for Korak. I guess maybe going for Tanya or hoping that East comes out.
Right. It's an interesting call because if you're going for Tanya, you need to toss a lot of shapes here.
Yeah, and he tossed to the 8 instead of one of the terminal tiles, which I disagree with. And now the East comes out.
Right. So I'm not entirely sure what you would go for here because you toss that East, but you keep the one Mon. So you're not going for Tanyao and you're not going for uh, your Yakuhai. Though I guess you can't go for the Yakuhai anymore. 2 Easts were already tossed out.
Yeah. And there's no Sanchoku here.
Oh, but Lucas's hand over on the left. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah,
Lots of pairs and triplets piling up.
they could call Ricci. Unfortunately, they dropped the 4-mon earlier, so that's a bad weight, and they have to get an 8-mon to improve the weight. Or maybe they just draw the north, and then they have Tonki Wait and Sananko.
Oh, and looks like Jeremy also in Tenpai on 6-9 Mon.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of the 9-mon are in his hand already, and a lot of the 6-mon are in other players' hands, but they might come out. And it does come out from Oliver. Just one Han, but when you're up that far ahead, you can take a one Han.
Right. And that might have been their mindset with that early Haku call. You're up ahead. Just try to finish the game out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So the current dealer is within striking range, although they have one Dora, but a lot of side shapes. Not really great either.
Yeah, you maybe could force this into Junshan if you really wanted to, but honestly, probably just try to progress towards a more normal hand.
Right. It's a Dragon Call from Jeremy. They might, maybe if they're like really, no, they're not going to force the Honitsu. I guess Mon Honitsu with 4 or 5 pawn potential would be nice, but probably just wants to end it again early.
Right, pretty much just following the same strategy as last hand. Call, end it quickly with cheap hands.
And Korok does not call the Green Dragon, probably wants more value, but not seeing where he'll get it. Maybe it's 3 pairs you go for Chitwai, I guess.
Right, but it's always sad when you're considering Choi Toy from only 3 pairs.
Yeah, I mean, there are some ways you have to like get value, and that might be his best bet. Oh no, now he calls 3, 4, 5. I guess there's a potential for 3, 4, 5 Sanchiku and the Hatsu, but that's just too Han.
Right, and it's pretty far. I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that 3-so coming out, dashing your Sanchoku dreams, but honestly, I don't think the hand would come together otherwise. Well, I was gonna say maybe you can pivot into a Toy, but nope, you can't. Not with that
Yeah.
3-4-5 call.
I
Oh,
guess,
nice fill for the dealer though.
yeah, if I was Korok, I guess I would have just lived for the Toy Yakuai for 3 on, but that's out of the window now. There aren't any 9 pins on the board, so maybe they're just calling to potentially avoid a hidden Mangon hand.
Reach.
And Ricci comes out from Lucas.
Yes, looks like a 4-7 so wait, and here's a 4.
But it doesn't get dealt in yet. A lot of the 7s are already out on the board, though. Just 1 left in the wall. Same with the 4-so, but 2 4-sos are in Ashy's hand. Oh, he draws the last 4-so. Sumo.
Very nice. Reach, Sumo, Pinfu, 2 Dora.
No
Ura. But you
So,
take that.
yeah. Brings up to, yeah, just barely in second by 200 points. But that extra Uma will help if they get to keep it.
Right. Sometimes you really need to think about just getting above that 30k point. So Korik is probably going to try desperately to get closer to that 30k as well, but doesn't have a lot of time to get there.
Yeah, no more dealer turns. So, speaking of the dealer's hand was not the best, as some okay shapes, but had a bunch of terminals, still a bunch of terminals in their hand.
The 2 Dora are nice though.
Oh yeah, they are. But it'll be hard to call.
Right. You could maybe get 7 pairs, maybe go in a calling spree, try to get Toy.
Yeah, 4 pairs. I could definitely see the Cheetoy. There's a sequence, so I might go for a more normal hand.
Right. Right, especially if you can get something like Pinfu, still allows you to keep those Wests as your pair.
Yeah, Dama even.
Right, especially since Jeremy doesn't really need the points. But when you get a hand like this, you take what you can get. Gets another
Yeah,
2.
if the West comes out, you might even go for Honitsu, just because why not?
Right.
Yeah, more Montiles. Definitely call West if it comes out.
Do you call this 9-mon?
Hmm, like it helps, but it doesn't really help. You still have to get like
Right.
7-8. It was a
Yeah, I think
chi.
I agree with the not calling there.
Yeah, it was a chi. You definitely chi it, but it was not from the player to the left.
Pong.
And the West comes out and it gets pawned. It's still Ishanten for Jeremy though, I believe.
Right. And it looks like across the way, Korak is looks like his hand's shaping up to be an Itsu.
Yeah, a little bit away. Just yeah, Ishanten. So that'll be good for him to get some value, especially with Pinfu.
Each.
Oh, and
Ricci
we
comes
have a
out.
reach on a nice 3-sided weight. Oh, no,
That's
not
just
3-sided, just 2-5.
2-5.
I misread the Manzu.
Unfortunately for him, all of the twos are accounted for and probably not coming out. There's still some fives out in the wall. And people are probably scared of this Manzu Honitsu from the dealer, so they're probably not coming out of anyone's hand.
Right, but even look at Oliver's discards there. There are no Manzu at all. It's a little bit
Yeah.
scary.
Now Jerry throws out the 8, man. It doesn't really help him, but maybe there's an upgrade somewhere in there. But maybe the 6 pin felt dangerous.
Ooh, very interesting. So dealer is, I believe that is Tempai. Right, on 2-5, if I'm reading correctly.
Yeah. Oh, maybe no, the 6.
Oh, and it
Uh,
looks like Korak is also in
yeah,
Tempai.
Tenpai, but Yakulis without the Ricci. Wing on 606 Mon.
I wonder here if you're Jeremy, keep your dealership, let it pass.
Well, is no more draws. Oh, it's not. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone's a
so
Tenpai.
everyone's in Tempai.
Yeah. Starting
Right.
off with 2 Hatsu, 1 completed shape or sequence rather. You might call. Lots of terminals for Oliver. Maybe even enough to go for Kokushi.
Let's
And then
see how
Jeremy just
many.
draws another Hatsu. But Oliver already has Hatsu, so they're fine with that. Then on
Well,
the
if Oliver does want to go for Kokushi, thankfully, oh, and there's another terminal draw. Thankfully, they do have that green dragon in their hand because otherwise it would be a little bit hard with Jeremy hogging all those green dragons.
yeah, and now they have another pair, but they already had a eternal pair.
Right, but I could see you also pivot to say Honroto if you absolutely have to. Call out those one pin, one so chun. See if you can get anything there.
Yeah, you are so close to second, but you still have the last hand to call like win a hand and get up to second. So you might as well go for something flashy because why not?
I would say Honro is pretty flashy. Doesn't come up too often.
Yeah, but are they going to come out with all of these middle tiles being discarded? It's a very not disguised. If you threw out those tonal tiles, it might be a little bit more disguised, but very middle tiles, they'll be expecting it.
Oh, and picks up another one. So, yep. I think that is a full commit to the Kokishi there.
Yeah. Yeah, Lucas is probably they started with 2 Dora and a Yakuai pair, so they probably wanted to just get a nice 3 on hand, but I don't think anyone's gonna throw out that white dragon. So they're gonna need to draw it themselves.
Well, let's see what everyone else's hand is doing. So interestingly, the dealer had a 5, 6, 7 pin shaped, but decided to drop the 5. I wonder if they're a little bit scared of that potential Kokishi, because there were absolutely no honor draws. And there comes another honor with the South. Oh, but the dealer does decide to reach here. Shows no fear against the potential Kokishi, but I guess after dropping 4 honor tiles in a row, maybe they're thinking, oh, well, they couldn't possibly
They could.
it. Maybe?
It's not Tenpai yet though. It's Ishanten?
Yes, they are missing a 1-mon and they're missing a white dragon.
And the Womon just comes out, but luckily and not Lucas has dropped those white dragons though.
There's that 6. So unfortunately, I think with that Chun drop, that is them folding out. Just look at all the honors that they got in their hand.
Yeah.
And their discard. It's pretty amazing.
It was a nice attempt. It said it didn't work out, but you definitely don't want to deal in to the dealer Ricci.
Right, especially when you're this far ahead. If this were instead, say, Korak, who was so close to Kokishi, maybe then you would push because you're so far behind and you want to be able to pull ahead. But you're in a comfortable second here. No need to rock the boat, even though it is a little sad.
Yeah. Lucas finally draws a 3rd white dragon. They had 2 the entire time. The other just never came out. Generates a nice 3,000 points.
Yeah. More and more sticks entering the center. We already have 2 Ricci sticks and 2 Homba.
Yeah, the dealer has 1 complete sequence, and they can call with the red dragon for speed. And Lucas has 2 Yakuai pairs. Double south for one of them. Definitely want to call. Yeah, going for Hanitsu. Definitely.
Right,
nice
and maybe even Toy as well.
Yeah, I mean, 3 remaining pairs and 2 triplets. Definitely Toy Sozunitsu for Hanuman.
Ooh, and we see a Khan.
Khan for Korak wants the Dora. He does get 1 Dora. It is in his suit.
Wow, everyone's just calling left and right.
Yeah, but do they think Lucas will be in 10th already? Oh, the 3
Oh, and they're
comes
so
out.
wrong.
It's not the Mongon or Hanuman even, but 3 on 50 and a lot of 6 on the table. It's about Mongon value for Korak, but not enough to pull him out of last. But Mongon Sumo, it'd be like just barely. It'd like come down to like a tie from the dealer. But if someone throws a Ricci stick, then it would like put him up to second. In the meantime, the dealer has 2 completed sequences and a dragon. Well, not the dealer. We're still on Jeremy, but Jeremy has 2 completed sequences and a dragon pair. Now we're on the dealer who has an Anko, nice shapes, a sequence, and a Ryman weight. Oh. Jeremy is already tempai on the 4-pin. Definitely dawn with that and just take your win if possible.
Right. At this point, if you maybe wanted to fight for it, you
Sumo.
could. Oh, and
You
there's
just
that
sumo it.
4. Right. That was probably the smart thing to do. Confirm your win there. Prevent anyone else from getting any kind of scary hand.
And Oliver just barely above that 30K threshold. Same with Lucas. So they won't lose any points here.
Right. Oliver just squeaking in there. Actually, same with Lucas, too. Both of them just barely getting above that 30K. And it looks like we're immediately going into the next game. Or immediately in 2 minutes.
Yep, second game of the day. There's going to be one more after this one.
So it's interesting. We have 3 people from this table, Oliver, Lucas, and Jeremy. They're all right next to each other in the standings now after that game.
Yeah, Arthur had a plus 60, but now he's knocked down to plus 30. So anyone could really be the winner of this table at these next 2 games.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see how everyone plays here. Anytime you're playing multiple games in a row, you have to think what your strategy is. Like how much of the previous game will affect how you're going into the next game.
Yeah, sometimes a loss could be very discouraging and set you up for another loss. And now we're starting in East 1 with Lucas having a fairly nice starting hand. 2 completed sequences already, another Rhineman. And then the right, there's Korak, who has a pair of the green dragons, but there's some other nice shapes, but it's still probably doesn't want to call. Not really a lot of value for that.
Yeah, across the way, things are coming together a bit for Jeremy. Not amazing.
Yeah, so needs a bit of work and no real value either. Meanwhile, Lucas has 2 the Dora. Although it's hard to use one of them, although the other is integrated in the hand.
Right. It will be interesting to see how they end up using that Dora. Does it turn into their pair? What's going to
Boom.
go on there?
And Korak does call for the green dragon.
Reach.
They are in Tenpai waiting on 5-8 Mon. But the Ricci comes out from Oliver.
Looks like a 6-9 pin for Ricci only, I believe.
Yeah, some extra foo, but there's a potential for Urasan.
We always like to see Urasan here. Oh, and there's that dangerous 6.
Don't.
Oh, and it comes out.
Yeah, hopefully Korak just reaching Nomi, and it is.
Just Michinomi. So, a little disappointing, but could have been a lot worse.
I guess he probably figured it wasn't like a good Ricci, just wanted to fight for that stick.
Right?
And thankfully, it
Uh,
wasn't a good Ricci.
yeah, interesting here with the dealer. Lots of pairs.
Yeah, they probably want that Yakuhai Toy Toy, I guess, calling the South. And the other pairs are side-ish tiles, so they might come out. And they
Oh,
get
well, there's
another
another one.
pair. Another call. It's holding on to that 8 Mondora. If they're really lucky, they pick up another one in their hand. Otherwise, it's gonna come out when they call again.
Right. And looking at some of the other players' hands, to the right, have a fair number of good shapes. I feel like that green dragon is going to come out sooner rather than later, which will be great for Korak.
They might just hold on to it. I know some people like, oh, no, it comes out. And Tenpai on 3mon 3 pin. All the remaining 3mons are in Lucas's hand, and one in Jeremy's. Still one more 3 pin somewhere in the wall, though.
Right. Interesting that Lucas decided not to call on that white dragon that was just tossed out.
Oh, and Jeremy gets the other 3 pin. So if someone deals into Korak, that's going to be an intentional drop.
Right. And Lucas just dropping white dragon. So maybe fold?
And I know Korak definitely wouldn't want to like avoid the valley, but even if he did, like he dropped the side tiles. So unless you get the 5mon unless you get the 5mon, you're gonna be furry 10 if you even want to upgrade to a 2-sided weight for 1 Han, but at that point, you just hope you sumo like the last tile for the better value.
Right.
Luke is still holding on to the last green dragon. Now it comes out. They are
Right.
Chitoi Ishanten.
Yeah, a little unfortunate that they dropped those white dragons earlier. That pair of white dragons really would have helped them out getting that Cheetoy shape.
So probably wanted to defend, I guess. I'm not sure how the board looked at that time.
Right. They are holding on to that east and red dragon that Oliver really wants a hold of.
Yeah, I'm not sure you even call it this way. Maybe if it helps to get to Tenpai.
Right. There's only 10 more tiles in the wall, so it's unlikely you're going to you're going to win, but hey, you take those 10 pie payments.
Yeah, Lucas folds out the 5, so and draws the 3, so they could have kept the Tenpai, but maybe it was like the right defensive option. Oh, now Oliver is Tenpai on Red Dragon. No, but just gets a Tenpai payment.
Aw. Slightly sad. It's always said when you draw a tile you can con off of as the very last tile of the hand. Because you can't con. You just have to let it go.
Yeah, I'm a practitioner of conning for flow, but at least Korak gets to hold on to his dealer hand. He might go for Itsu, but the rest of the shapes need a little bit of work in his hand, but it's okay, I guess.
Right. Looking at some of the others to the right also needs
This
some work. You have some Ryeonmen shapes.
they do have double Dora South, but will someone throw it? They are in other people's hands right now. But it would be an instant Mongon if someone throws it out.
And looking across the way, Oliver, also not great hand. You have those green dragons in there. That's about it in terms of points in your hand. Not much else.
Yeah, a lot of isolated tiles.
Yeah, that 5 so helps, but you need a lot more help to get something out of this hand. It does seem like Korak and Lucas are both still holding on to their lone souths in their hand.
Yeah, Korak's still not Ishanten, and the dream for the Itsu died off. He might even want to go for. He has 4 pairs. Might go for Chitoy, Dora Tonki, if the other pairs show up.
Right. It can get scarier and scarier as time goes on, not seeing that Yakuhai Dora getting dropped at all, especially one like the South, which isn't helpful to everybody.
I think Jeremy is Ishanten, but he might also call this Penzu, going for half flush, 2 Dora.
So
Hanuman
that's
upgrade
not
if someone
two.
actually drops the South, but.
Pom. Pom.
Oh, and
Oh,
now
and
the
there
South
goes
comes
that
out.
South. So Korak, I think, was trying to go for just a quick Tanyao hand and deals in that very dangerous South.
Yeah, maybe a Toy Toy Tanyao.
So I wonder if Jeremy is going to. Yes, it looks like they're switching, trying to get maximum greed, maximum points with that half
Yeah.
flush. But that did bring them out of their tempai.
Yeah, I mean, for a Hanuman, and you get another pin, I guess. Doesn't look like they're in Tempai yet, though.
Not quite. Ishan 10, and a wide one at that.
Yeah, a lot of ways to get to it, but with an open Mongon at least on the board, people aren't going to want to drop those pin tiles. I guess it's more like an open Hanuman. But it
Always want to
didn't
greed for
greed,
that
yeah.
Hanuman. Oh, a nice fill there. 789. That does put them into tempai on 4-7 Mon.
Yeah, but they do not take it.
Ooh, and another Pinzu there.
This is might be figuring out if this even is. Doesn't look like it's Tenpai still, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Yeah, none of the pin tiles are highlighted, so that's just what I'm going off of.
I guess that is a good way to do it, since pretty much every single pin tile is in somebody's hand. It's
Yeah, that's
definitely a very callable shape, right? Because you have so many pairs here. So if anyone is willing to drop a pin zoo,
yeah, I respect the greed play, but with the open Mongon at least, no one's gonna drop the pin tiles. You just have to draw them. And you don't even get the Tenpai payments unless you get the Tenpai in your last draw.
nope.
And you did not.
Very sad. Was not meant to be. But I guess that did force everyone else's hand to Or forced everybody else to get rid of their hands because you do not want to deal into the Mangan showing hand.
Absolutely no one had Tempai that round. So now we move on to Jeremy as the dealer. One Dora in hand, but it's hard to use, and Korak already has 2 of them. Opening up with that Yakuhai, 2 Dora at least.
Maybe even
yeah,
Honitsu.
maybe Pin Onitsu. Drops a red dragon instead of one of the other suits, though.
Right, and then drops that 1 print. So probably not going for the Honitsu.
Yeah. If another green dragon comes out, it's going to be Mangan anyway, so I can see that. So 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku potential from Oliver, but needs a little bit to fill in there.
Ooh, and that's a nice fill there. That 3 so. Oh, and another nice fill. Well, not quite a fill, but completing that 4-5 shape.
Oh, that. Yeah, they could have had Tempai on the 5 so there, but instead opting for a wider acceptance and more value,
Right.
I guess, from calling the green dragon.
Seems like everyone's getting their fills here.
Unfortunately for him, Jeremy picked up the other green dragon as a pair, and that's not coming out.
Right. But at least for the dealer here, it fits very well as the pair for their hand.
Yeah, they will have to call a Ricci because of that value pair, but still, it's a value pair. Definitely like to see that.
Right. And Korak did call, so they are waiting on 6 pin and the green dragon. Green dragon probably not going to come out.
Yeah.
Looks like there's 1 6 pin in Oliver's hand to the right, and then 1 more. Oh, no, I guess that's the last
his
one.
call. Yeah.
Korak did call the other one.
If he's lucky, he gets a 6 or a 5 or 7 pin to get a wider weight. There are some of those available.
Right. Interestingly, Jeremy decided to call there. They're also going to have to wait on that green dragon to actually have any value here. But maybe as the dealer, you're pretty close to the end. Even though it's not very likely at this point that green dragon's going to come out, you can at least keep your dealership, get those hentai payments.
Each.
Oh, and a Ricci. Interesting. So on waiting for 1-4 Mon.
Yeah, it's a scary Rishi without any of that Dora out and a lot of calls, but luckily for them, it's not going to come out. Well, it's not out of their hand anyway.
Right. And unfortunately for Lucas, a lot of those 1s and 4s have already been discarded. Oh, that's
Sumo.
I hate to see it.
He gets to throw a save tile and still keep Tempai against the Ricci.
Right. It's just so sad to see. And
Does
Korak has a
throw?
decision
He
here.
throws that before.
Tosses the wrong side. Could have stayed safe with that 7, but deals into that 2 Han 30 hand, plus a couple Hanba.
Yeah, should have went for the more side tile rather than the mid tile. Oliver starting off with double East Yakuai in hand, which is great to see, but the rest of the hand needs some work.
That's 2 Dora are very nice, though.
Oh, and the 2 Dora, yeah. So that E's thrown out. He gets a Mongon. And Lucas could call. Oh, doesn't need a call. Gets the third green dragon, so you could just do whatever you want with that hand. Call all you want. You're not. The scores are very close to this table for now, actually.
Right. They could definitely switch at the drop of a hat, especially since it's only East 4. We still have a lot of game to go. And it does look like Lucas got that nice pickup for the 7 so. Is
Lots of
East on
nice
10.
so shapes in general for Jeremy's hand.
Chi.
And Korak calling for the 1-2-3 Sanchoku, maybe even Junshan with a 9 so upgrade.
Right. You're just hoping for that 9 so to drop into your lap.
Yeah, Junshan, Sanchoku, and Adora would bring it to a Mongon hand.
Ooh, now this is interesting. So you could have called that 9 so and
Pom.
broken your hand a bit, hope that you pick up another terminal later.
Yeah, I would have just. You'd have to throw away the terminal, but that. You do get another terminal. You
Each.
get either the Chanta for 3 Han or the Junshan for the Mongon.
Right. It's probably not something that I would encourage doing, but it would have been interesting to see. But in the meantime, looks like Lucas here did manage to reach Tempai, waiting on 4-7 Mon.
Yeah, Richi Haku. Not a ton of value, but there's aura potential there.
Right. And when the scores are this close, anything that can give you a little bit of a lead is very worth it. And it does look like Oliver did get into Tempai, tossed that Dora into there, and it's going to toss the winning tile as well.
Yeah, 3
Reach
Han is the dealer.
Hatsu, no Dora. Or no Aura.
Just an unlucky draw. You definitely want to keep your dealer seat with 3 Han. He threw out Adora, so he didn't get the Mongon, but. Oh well, it's definitely worth fighting for. So Lucas is the new dealer, starting off some nice shapes and 2 Dora in hand. And Korak starting with an instant Anko of the Red Dragon. Not any other value otherwise. And a lot of disconnected shapes for Jeremy. A few middling tiles, and so not anything complete for Oliver though. I guess I'm Lucas. I'm definitely calling for like open Tanya with a 2 Dora. I might as well get the Itsu.
Right. Keeping that open though, might be a little bit hard. Like, what do you do with the 2 6s in there? It's a little bit hard to turn that into your pair. Then you have to toss your nice 7-8. Maybe you can finagle this into an Itsu. You would still have to drop one of your Dora, but you make up for it with the Itsu.
Right. There would only be Itsu unless he gets another 6-pin. But the other 6 pins are in Ashi's hand. The White Dragon that might start to call, but there's only one more left. But it would be White Dragon and 2 Dora in hand. Definitely worth calling
Right.
for.
I wouldn't be surprised if it came out.
Yeah. Jeremy might keep it for so honey. Oh, but he already discarded one, so he's probably gonna discard the other one at some point.
Right. And Oliver did decide to call, forcing needing the White Dragon in order to have their Yaku requirement.
Sumo.
Oh,
Correct,
and
Sumo's a 2-1.
Yeah, cheap hand.
Yeah, just one Han, but
You get your dealership. Points are still very close.
yeah.
Let's see if he can capitalize on this.
Not the greatest hand to capitalize on, although there are 4 pairs, so you go for the Cheetoy, you can even go for Toy Toy, but there's no value for that.
Right. That 4 maybe pushes you into a more normal looking hand.
Yeah, at least the potential for a normal hand. But
Oh,
another
but
pair.
as we say that, here's another pair.
Thinking a little bit about the discard.
Yeah, so discards that 6, which does make it seem a lot more like Cheetoy or Toy Toy. Well, there's that 3, so do you pivot now to Toy Toy? See if you can get that green dragon call.
Yeah, maybe even Suanko if you're lucky with the draws.
Right, we need more Yakuman here. We had the one yesterday. Why can't we have one today?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Cheetoy, but it is what gets you the potential for Suanko, besides just drawing all those Ankos on your own. So it's good for that at least.
Oh, and
There's Tenpai. Takes it on the one mon. Very good weight.
right,
However,
especially with that 4 mon cut earlier.
yeah, although those middle tiles make it seem like a Suji trap, but it might also look like a Pinzu Hanitsu, but it'd be a very lucky to get a hand like that, but it's not gonna be that.
It might be a little hard though because one mon has been dropped. The other 2 remaining ones are in Jeremy's hand, and those probably aren't going. Well, they may get dropped now that.
Oh, they
Oh,
get
there it
dropped.
is. I was going to say they may get dropped now that that 2 mon got dropped. Doesn't pick up any Ura though, but that does put Korak into the lead.
Yep, just barely in the lead. You got a Dora in the hand, and you can call with the White Dragons, but hand needs a lot of work.
7 so helps. Gets you more things to call if you decide to go that direction.
Yeah. Jeremy could also call with the Red Dragons, but no value unless he goes for Pin Hanitsu, which he might with that pickup.
Right. Looking across.
Chi.
Oh, we do have dealer calling.
Chi.
So, and another call. So dealer really needs that white dragon to get points into their hand. Korak is Jeremy is calling away, getting into that Honitsu shape.
Yeah, not in Tenpai yet. Not even. It might not even be Shanten. Yeah. No, they're Shanten.
Yes, Ishanten. Might try to wait on that last or that east there for their pair, but does decide to toss it.
Yeah. No extra value, but you still get a 3 on hand.
Right, and Korak is also in Tenpai. I guess the first in Tenpai. However, they need that white dragon in order to have any value.
Yep, still 2 in the wall, and it's not in anyone's hand.
Let's see. In terms of the other 2 players, they're working their way, but I think just in terms of speed, Korak and Jeremy may just be too quickly for them.
Yeah. Oliver does have 4 pairs, so they could go for Cheetoy, but lots of pin tiles, you don't want to toss them against that pin Hanitsu, probably.
So this is actually a bit interesting. Jeremy has that green dragon, and no green dragons have been tossed. I believe Oliver just got another green dragon. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now Jeremy is in Tenpai. So do you... Yes,
Oh.
goes for the 2/5 shape. Could have instead waited for another green dragon to come out and waited on
Yeah.
3-pin green dragon, but chooses the 2/5, the wider weight. But unfortunately, if you look over at Lucas's side, there's 3 5-pin in the hand right there.
Yeah. I would have just went with the 3-pin green dragon for the value. Oh, and if you waited on that, it doesn't come out. It does not come out from Korak's hand.
Right. There have been no green dragons dropped at all.
Yeah,
Oh, and there's that too. So all of the 5s are in people's hands.
So
I think there's
does
2 more
Korak call this White
2-pins.
Dragon?
Or one more. One more 2-pin left.
Korak did not call the White Dragon, which is
Right.
probably yeah. I mean, you get the Yakuai at least, but the Green Dragon does look dangerous. Not discarded at all. Although it wouldn't be a win, but it would be extra Han for Jeremy.
Right. For Korak, I can understand not wanting to call there because either you have to drop the 2-pin into what looks like a pretty obvious Honitsu, or you have to drop the Green Dragon, which has not been dropped at all, which also would go into a Honitsu. So I'm not surprised there.
Yeah, he still maintains the lead, although only by less than 1,000 points. But still, it's better than dealing in.
Right. But with the scores this close, even those Tenpai payments, they can really add up.
Yeah, especially without the red 5s. Like lots of hands can be very low in Han value. The dealer had 1 Dora, where they picked up another. The rest of the hand needs a little bit of work though, but with 2 Dora, it's looking pretty okay right now. And Oliver's hand could use a little bit of work. It has a few Riemann shapes at least.
Does complete one of their shapes at the very least. Across the table with Lucas, it's definitely getting there. That 5 is a nice draw.
Each.
Oh, that's Tenpai actually. Waiting on 3-6, so.
Unfortunately, just reaching Nomi. Maybe you hope and pray for that Urasan.
Sumo.
Oh, just sumo it.
Sumo. So reach. Sumo, but no Ura.
No Ura, but it does put you into first place. And it's all last here. Lots of good shapes for the dealer. Could even call south to be able to call anything you want. That would just be 1 Han though. Though you do have Dora acceptance on your 6-8 Mon.
Right, and you're so close to that 30k threshold. You may want to get slightly cheaper hands just to get above that threshold before you try marching on first place.
Yeah, they could go for a So Hanitsu, but still a lot of non-So Talos in your hand.
Right. Let's see, in other players' hands. Let's see, Lucas picks up an Anko there and with the 8s. Has some good shapes. Some Yanmen's 1, 2, 3, and so a lot of Bansu tiles. Across the way, Korak has a couple pairs. Still need some work up there. And we have Jeremy also getting there.
Yeah.
Has some completed shapes.
a lot of Ryman shapes. Just completed another one. Might even be Ishanten, I think, with that draw.
Yeah, so everyone's hand is still progressing as we're getting into the second row here.
Reach.
Jeremy does draw a Dora. Doesn't really help their hand, but dealer does get the Ricci.
Yeah, waiting on Dora and the Dora Suji 4-7 mon. So in theory, it won't be too likely to come out.
Right. Does make it slightly more annoying though for Jeremy, who just drew that Dora into their hands that really doesn't fit.
Reach.
Oh, and we have another Ricci from Korak.
Yeah,
Waiting on 6-9. So
yeah, definitely want to fight for that first, although well, 2-6 on the board. Would that be enough? I think that would be enough to get the first, no matter who you win it off of. But sumo from the dealer.
Reach Sumo and picks up an Ura 330. Puts themselves into the lead.
Very nice hand. And you start off with Dora, a few Ryman shapes.
Maybe even a man, my brain just had a brain fart there. Maybe you can get Sanshoku here. 3-4-5.
Yeah, maybe. It would be nice. It's definitely not like you might be at like a point where you think about like ending the game gracefully, but if everyone else is in Tenpai and you're not, then you don't get your first. So you definitely don't want to do that.
Right. It's actually an awkward position to be in because in our rule set, if you're the dealer, you have to keep on going. And like you said, you don't want to run into the situation of Tenpai payments just trying to end the game and then suddenly you lose your first.
And Lucas is already, I think it's Lucas already Tenpai on 1-4. So Dama Pinfu. Oh, it comes out, but it does not. Does that? No, it just ends the game. Doesn't get them the first, but it secures the second for them.
Right.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
100 points away.
Right. If they decided to reach that hand with the Ricci pots, maybe that one so wouldn't have come out, but that would have definitely put them ahead.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they didn't see the math that they wouldn't have been in first from that. Or maybe they just wanted to confirm the second anyway. But an early Ricci, I figure, why not take it? Especially with a good Pinfu weight.
Right. I could maybe see a point against it being that you're pretty close in points to the other players. And calling that reach there, not being able to defend and putting 1,000 points on the table could maybe be a little risky. Especially since you want to make sure that you're above that 30K threshold. So when you're that close, you really don't want to deal in.
Oh, apparently from the comms channel and from the results, somehow that did put Lucas into first? Or is
Oh,
that?
did we look at the wrong thing there? Maybe
No,
they did calculate it right.
I guess something I don't know how that happened, but well, they did get first for that, so I guess the Dama was the correct way to go.
Today it is the commentators who cannot count.
It might be that I think in the game it doesn't show the Kuriage Magan, maybe. So like the extra 300 points.
Oh, maybe because of the Hamba.
No, but the points at the end did show that they were 100 behind, though.
Hmm. Interesting.
You have to definitely check somehow after the games are done how that worked out. They got first, but now we're gonna go to the next game shortly.
No, it did show 100 ahead. I think we just messed up on who dealt into.
Oh, maybe that could have been it.
Right. That was our bad. Sorry, everyone. It can sometimes be a little confusing when uh, using people's names versus seeing their Tenho usernames.
Yeah.
Our bad. But anyway, another game. The last game.
Yeah. Deal started off two sets and a pair. They could get the double east, but they only have one for now. Then to the right, there's some nice shapes, but also some not so nice shapes. At least there's a door in their hand. They just picked up another Rhineman, so that's good for them. And across the way, there's a lot of Montalis in Korak's hand. He's probably thinking about just pushing that half flush if I was him.
Right, especially since you have those two Dora 9mon in your hand. Oh, but decides not to go that route. Admittedly, it is pretty far.
Yeah, just going for a normal hand. I think, yeah, he's Shanten, but it would be currently would not be a good weight. Like, yeah, just a one tile. But with two Dora, it's pretty nice though.
Right. And it looks like Jeremy, our dealer here, is an Ishanten.
Yeah, picked up another East.
Reach.
Oh, and we have a reach on a 7 pairs only hand. Or I guess
Ye-
7 pairs in reach.
Yeah,
Always hoping for that Ura.
there's the early Suji trap setup for it. And it comes out immediately.
Oh.
Yeah, you hate to see, you hate to be on the other side of the Chi Toy Suji trap. It's a nice pickup for Oliver.
Yeah, very scary there.
Lucas with the dealer starting with the double East. Great to see. Some nice shapes all around.
Right, especially if you can call this. Just try to complete it out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Lots of terminals, but you can call the Green Dragon and Korak's hand, but no value that way, no obvious Hanitsu to go for. Then Oliver has two doors in hand right now, but needs a little bit of work to put together a hand, though.
Well, keeps on drawing pairs. Maybe we'll see another 7 pairs, but perhaps not. With that 7 draw, you can hopefully pivot to maybe Ipeco.
Right. But if the other pairs show up, then why not?
Right.
Maybe even
Sometimes you just have
Dama.
to let the hand go where it may. Oh, unfortunately,
So
does drop that pair. Oh, and the East did come out, so we do have the dealer calling that double East.
yeah,
I expect to see more calls in our future.
Yeah. Just Ishanten for the two Han, but definitely as a dealer you want those repeats.
Chi.
And there's another call. So Lucas is now in Tempai for 4-7 on
Chi.
4-7 so. see a couple 7-so's in people's hands and discards.
Yeah, lots of 4-so's available. Well, 2 in the wall.
相撲
Oh, I just
Oh, and there
sumo.
it is. So just that double east, but you take it.
Yeah, and another pretty good starting hand. Lots of rhyme and shapes. 2 sequences already completed.
Right.
Lots of
Even,
Montiles for Korak.
hmm
Could even have Khan, but definitely not so early.
Right. Especially when it's the uh, middle of the suit there.
Yeah.
There's so many ways you can add on to that it's really not in your best interest to call the con. Though we always love to see our cons.
Yeah, still needs some value though, besides a full Chinitsu. Throws away the green dragon. Oh, it's already a choice discard, so I could see why. It's 4 pairs in Jeremy's hand. Might be going for that chi toy. But it's also 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. Could have like a normal hand of that. And the 4, 5, 6. Yeah, actually, draws a 3 so. You go for Richi Pinfu, possibly Peiko.
Ooh, very interesting there. So our dealer has a lot of nice shapes here, but is still kind of searching for their pair. They have a potential Ipeco in there, but really needs a pair.
Yeah, you could just draw the 5 or 9 pin and have a pair. And you get Richi Pinfu out there.
Right. I think if you get into Tenpai in that situation, you probably are willing to drop the Ipeco chance.
Yeah, not really a great Ipeiko unless you
リーチ
draw it. Just
Well,
because.
speaking of great Ipecos, though, we have a 3-sided weight going on over there on the left on Jeremy's side. 147,
Oh, yeah,
and
4
1 comes
here's
out
the one.
immediately.
So Reach, Ipatsu, Pinfu, Ipeco, Dora. No Ura, but hey,
Yeah,
still a
Monk
manga.
on hand. Yeah, not sure why they weren't even in Tenpai. I don't know what the thought process on the 1 pin drop was there, but still a very wide weight. It probably would have come out at some point, but the Richi Patsu really hurts.
Right.
Already 4 pairs for this dealer hand here, but no value in it. No Dora. That would be the East, and no one. Well, Jeremy has one of them.
Right.
Some good shapes. Even 3, 4, 5 symmetrical potential for Oliver.
Ooh, Korak picks up another pair.
Yeah, you got to be committed at that point.
Right. Hopefully picks up something a little bit better for that final pair.
Probably just
And
toss the 4 pin, set up the Sudi trap for the 7.
yeah, that's definitely a way you can go. And does decide to toss that 4-pin.
There's also a lot of pairs for Lucas's hand. I think that's 5 and 1 triplet. Still holding on to the 1 triplet for potential Suanko, I suppose. Which I respect, especially being last. There's still the South round to go through as well.
Right. You may even transition to a toy if you need to. Though it does look like 2 of those Wests are in Jeremy's hand up top. They're not going to complete the shape there.
Yeah, if they
Ooh,
draw,
unfortunately, chose the wrong thing to toss. Toss that 2-pin the turn before, and then immediately drew another one.
yeah, they can even have like a relatively normal kind of hand. They could if they draw the 7-pin, they would actually be Ipeco waiting on 5-pin or West.
So it does seem like dealer did manage to draw one of those Dora Easts, which is nice to see in your Chitoy hand. Oh, and we
And
have
yeah,
another pair.
do they take and they Dama on the 7 on or the
Right.
7-pin? But oh, it's not. It's all on the table. Good thing
Right.
they didn't reach you.
Well, you can't reach on that too, because you would A, be Furitan, and B, all of them are gone. You need something better to wait for this 7 pairs on.
Yeah, I guess probably should have just kept the 5, so just in case you drew another triplet, because
This one
7 is
is
just dead.
better. Unbeknownst to him, though, Korak has 2 of the other 1-pins in his hand. So it's not that
Yeah,
great, but looking at the table, it doesn't seem so bad. Especially with all the 2-pins gone. Dropping that 1-pin seems a lot more safe. But I don't really see the 1-pins coming out of Korak's hand anytime soon.
yeah. With all the the sumo comes out from Oliver. Just one Han, but when you're in first, you definitely want to move things along, especially with the Ricci. Although just barely in first, so you still want like a good buffer. And this,
This is pretty nice.
yeah, lots of good Riemann weights or shapes, pairs as well.
Has acceptance for the Dora.
Yeah. To the right, Jerry's hand could use a lot of work. Then Lucas has some okay shapes, but still not too fast looking. Then Korak has a good amount of Sotos. I don't know if he although they dropped the South, so probably didn't want to go for half flush. Although that would have been a valueless triplet. So I can see going for an old hand.
Oh,
Does
it's
have 4 pairs.
yeah. Looks like Jeremy just picked up another Haku.
Another pair for Korak. We get the Chitoy this time. Unfortunately, discarded the Souths. I don't know if they were already paired up at the start, but still plenty of time to get it to 10 by.
Right, this just seems to be the Hanchan of 7 pairs.
Yeah, Jeremy calls a 6-7-8, but it needs to call the White Dragon, which has already been once discarded to actually have a Yaku, unless he transitions to Tanyao. It's definitely an option.
Ooh, well, I guess speaking of pairs, looks like Lucas up there does have a pair of the Dora, which is nice. Oh, and Jeremy did manage to get that last Haku.
Yeah. Ideally, he wants to get that 8 so he can use the door as well, but might also just be looking to move things along at this point.
Looks like our dealer is in a nice Ishan 10 for Pinfu.
Yeah, lots of ways to get in there. Oh, it has to throw the door, but there is Tenpai from Jeremy waiting on 3 so Formon.
And Lucas right there picks up that last Dora.
Oh, there's 3 so come out. There's already yeah.
Gonna come out.
Steals the first place, but only just barely.
Right, and we're only into South, so definitely a lot of time for that first place to change hands. Ooh, now this is pretty nice hi-fi.
Yeah, 2 completed sequences, 2 pairs. Pretty
1、
good. No value, but still easy reachy hand.
Right. If it were a little bit later in the game, maybe you would be worried about reaching this, potentially putting you under. But when it's only South 1, you still have a little bit of time. I think if you
Yeah,
get in tempi, you just go ahead and reach.
especially if you get that 7 so, because you had that 3-sided weight. Or the 3 or 9 so even. Wouldn't be Pinfu, but with this 3-sided weight, you definitely take that.
リーチ、
Oh, and here is a reach over on Oliver's side to the left there, waiting on 2-5 for. Yes, that is
Reachy,
Pinfu.
yeah.
Reach Pinfu. And an early reach at that. So they may be able to take their first place back.
Yeah, Korak called the 1-2-3. I guess he had the South is that's going to be his Yaku, but now decides to abandon that.
Right? It can be a little bit scary, Ricci coming in that quickly. Let's see where those weights are. So it looks like there are two twos being used up, one in Jeremy's hand and one in Lucas's hand. There's 2 5-mons in Korak's hand. So there's still 4 weights left in the wall.
Yeah, plenty of time for it to come out. Jeremy's at Ishantan, but I don't know if he'll want to push.
Right. They
Come!
may not. Oh,
Oh,
there they
yeah.
go. They're pushing.
147 pin weight. Although the one would not be a Yaku.
Right. Looking at the board, there's already 3 1-pins on the table, so it's pretty unlikely that he's going to run into a footy 10 situation.
Yeah, it would be very sad though. Oh,
で
draw
も、
the 7 pin. Keep your
Very
dealership
nice.
and the Ricci stick.
Right. Honestly, just getting that Ricci off the table is probably more important. Get that reach out of there, reset the table.
Yeah, unfortunately, this hand for the dealer is not so great this time. Some middling tiles, but no really good shapes yet. Lots of terminals for Lucas to the right.
ポン、
It's calling for the Green Dragon. Could have 2 789s, maybe even have the Chanta upgrade, but maybe just but they're in last. Oh, the double south coming in clutch pickup there to give them some actual value in that hand.
Very nice. And it looks like Oliver to the left is getting pretty close. Probably needs to be another reach hand, though, because there's no other value other than that one Dora.
Yeah, no, with the triplet of the ones, you need to reach for the Yaku anyway, but
Right,
de-
but
de-
you can still reach that. Try
yeah,
again.
definitely one you go for.
Oh, and does get that south. But now Lucas needs to think what their pair is going to be.
Yeah, if they get the 9, I don't know if it'll come out, but it might. No, they're gonna keep that. They won't have the Tanya, but they'll have that one shape. Although not still a few Shantan away from Tenpai though.
Right. they did decide to reject that 9-pin, saying, you know what, maybe that's Sanshoku isn't for me. But
リーチ
with that draw, actually, we can change to 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku if they wanted to.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 Sanchiko Ricci coming out on just the 2-pin from Korak. Oh, and with the door, that is a Hanuman at least. Unfortunately, two pins are already in the dealer's hand, but 2 more still available in the wall. And there's an early 5-pin Suji, which someone might be trapped by.
Right. We do see 2 pins in Jeremy's hand, but there's still 2 left.
I think Jeremy, I think he could have called Ricci there, but decides to just throw out the 8 with safe tile.
I don't think he could have called Ricci there. Oh, no, he could have.
リーチ
Now
Like
calls
right
it-
there.
oh,
チ
yeah, 1, a lot.
ロン
Oh,
Very-
and
oh.
there's the Ron.
The Ron.
Double
Rihan-
south. Oh,
extra-
nice
Oh yeah, the
Mangan
2
there.
Dora. I didn't realize there was a Dora. Yeah, nice Mangan. Even out the Chanta, which is always fun to see.
Let's see. So dealer here has those tunes, has a completed Anko. So good
Yeah.
shapes. Good possibility, though not very expensive hand. And still wants to work their way up to at least above the 30K.
Yeah, but you definitely take those dealer repeats if you can get them. And it's a very
Yes,
good hand to
definitely.
get them with.
Over to our right, on Korak's side, maybe 789 Sanshoku, if you're lucky.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. But it's a bit of a stretch. Might
Lots
just
of
turn
side
into
shapes.
whatever you can get normal hand.
チ
Oh, it looks like
Oliver-
we have some calling around the table. So our dealer called those chuns. We have Jeremy who called a Manzu shape, so probably going for that Honitsu, and with those Haku, definitely going for that Honitsu.
Yeah, with the 6 Mandraw, we also have a very wide pair weight, but also possibly just waiting, maybe just throw the 7-mon and get the Itsu in there to bring that up to a Mangan.
チ
Oh, definitely could be. Oh, and our dealer does get into Tenpai on just the 7 pin.
Thinking about whether or not to cheat that, but just not.
Right. I personally wouldn't chi that. Breaks you out of Tenpai.
No, it would it would be
No,
in
I
Tenpai.
guess it wouldn't have broken you out of Tenpai. You would just be on a pair weight instead.
Yeah, but you get the flexibility from there.
Oh, and there's that
7.
7. There it
Boom.
goes.
Just 1 Han, but dealer take those repeats all the time.
Definitely.
Yep, 2 completed sequences, but the rest of the hand could use a little bit of work.
Right. It has potential, but like you said, needs some work.
Yeah, Korak's hand could also use a little bit of work, but has sequence, Reinman, pair.
In better shape, I would say, than the dealer.
I think I like the dealer's hand better than that, but still very comparable.
Right. Well, dealer hand definitely looks better now with that 3 pin in there. Starting to look more and more like a normal pin fooey hand. Unfortunately, dropped that 5 the previous turn and then immediately draws the 6.
Yeah, that's just mahjong for you.
Now it's mahjong. Oh, that one is nice.
Yeah, you get the Ishanten.
Right. I probably would have dropped the 4 so just lock in that shape there.
Must be dreaming for Ipeko if he gets the 3 so or the 2 so.
Yeah, definitely could happen. Let's see, around the table, Oliver up there across. Definitely building up that hand. We have a completed shape in Mon. We have the Anko in Pin. Uh, the nice Ryanman weight and so definitely going good there. On Jeremy's side on the left, looks like they are in Tempai, waiting on just the 8 so
Yeah, they
for
are in
Tanya
lead.
Nomi.
Yeah. Tayo Nomi, but getting towards the end of the game and you're in the
Each.
lead, might just want to secure it. But then there's the Ricci. It's gonna be harder to defend against that. You do have the safe towel,
Right,
but
so that
you're
is a reach on the 4
Each.
7 so, and a reach down from the dealer
yeah.
on 9 pin 4 so. So we could have a double run situation on that 4
Gee.
so.
There's 2 of them left in the wall though. I don't, but it would be used by Korak's hand, so it would have to be from Lucas.
Dum.
The 8
Oh, and
so
there
comes
comes out that 8. So just a Tanyao to end it all. 1,000 points.
Yep.
Plus those 2 Ricci
Yeah.
sticks.
Lots of Reject donations. Korax here, his last healer, he could have the East called to just accelerate, get a Yaku, get those dealer repeats. Does have a Yaku in hand, or not Yaku, a Dora in hand, but needs something to connect it with. Unfortunately for Korak, Lucas might be looking at a Cheeto here. Just 3 pairs, but might actually 4 pairs. So yeah, those Easts might never come out.
Right. Or at the very least, they're not going to come out for a while.
And another pair, yeah, those Easts are staying in that hand. Thankfully, it's looking like he can just build around the East as his pair. He didn't call anything. Or maybe his own Cheetoy with 4 pairs. But still the 1, 2, 3 and the 6, 6, 7, 8. Ipeko could have like a normal hand there.
Right. I think personally I would try to push more for the normal hand, but you can never really go either way.
Yeah, you can't call unless these come out, but they're not coming out. Oh, and
Oh, that
there's
was an
1
excellent
for
fill on Oliver's side there.
yeah, 1 for pin Tenpai. Just Haku Dora.
Oh, and there's one of the ones. Is it going to come out? Does not come out. Ooh, but dealer picks up another pair. So now is Tenpai for another 7 pairs hand because we just love 7 pairs so much. And speaking of 7 pairs, very nice dodges, unintentionally dodges the dangerous 1 pin. Oh no.
Oh
Oh
no, it's coming
no.
out. Either way, you're dead.
Either way, you're dead for a 230 hand. That is sad.
Yeah, it doesn't change the standings that much though. So Oliver starting with just one Ryman shape and a pair could use a lot of work in his hand. Then
Right. And trying to chase that first place. This is not the hand to get up to first place in one fell swoop.
yeah, similar situation for Jeremy.
Right. Jeremy in the lead probably just wants a nice, simple, quick hand, but Walt didn't really provide. Maybe you can force this into Tanyao, I guess. Drop that 9 so there.
Yeah, doesn't look like it though. I think Crossway Lucas is in a kind of a weird Ishanten. It wouldn't be a great weight no matter what it is. Well, if he gets the 3-pin, it would be a fairly nice East 7-pin weight, but no value unless there's Aura.
Right. Not even enough value to get you above that 30K.
That is Tenpai. Do they take it? Not yet. I guess if they draw the one mon, they would have Chanta, which would actually be a pretty good upgrade. Richi
Right.
Chanta.
Vici trying to pray for Ura.
Yeah, that would be enough to break out of below 30K. Although I think with the new rule, that doesn't really make that much of a difference, unless you're like the dealer, in which case you want to push everyone below 30K.
Fair, but every bit helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that they have not called yet really makes it seem like they are trying to force that Chanta. Call Vici, I mean.
Yeah. You definitely want the extra value. Although 2 of the 1 mons have already been discarded, though.
So Honba did not change, to answer a question in chat. But the distribution of the sliding UMA uh, did slightly change compared to the Beta League. Oh, and this is Tenpai for but chooses not to take it. Tenpai for Korak, I mean.
1
This is a better Tenpai for Korak. Now it is a 3-sided weight.
It
So
is
that is
Furuten, though.
Ricci. Yeah, Ricci Pinfu Tanyao on a Furiten weight. Oh, so that is unfortunate for Lucas.
1
Of the,
Everyone just tossing out those 3 pins,
the
and he can't win off of
Chi.
them. Interestingly, Lucas decided to toss um, the East instead of maybe trying to toss the 4 Mon and seeing if they can get into Chanta. But instead, I think they're just trying to stay into Tenpai. Hope that the dealer is in Tenpai to have a continuance, but unfortunately, Oliver was not in Tenpai, so that is going to be the game.
Yeah. And our standings just updated. Very, like, oh, Arthur just, yeah, was at the start, was at the top of the start, but now is minus 1.4. Highest leading out the board is Oliver with just a plus 15. Yeah, it was very lopsided at the beginning of after the first game of the set of 4, but things really equalized out for these last 3 games.
Right. Everyone just hanging out in the middle. So I believe this was the last game that was scheduled for tonight. So I think we can just wrap it up.
Yep, we're wrapping up. Final games of the A1 division. Some are pretty exciting. And I think that's it for today.
Great. So as always, it has been a pleasure commentating. And I hope to be able to commentate with you more in the future, Dustin.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe in the future, maybe we'll have more of those unique pairings of commentators. We'll see.
All right. So everyone have a good night. And I believe there will be a lot more games coming up in the next couple days as people are finishing up their matches before the end of the week. So I believe over the weekend there will be another commentary.
Yeah, so quite a few games over the weekend.
All right. Well, see you all later.